This is VSiN, the sports betting network. This is Money Moves on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Kicking off hour 2 here on Money Moves, VSiN, the sports betting network, Sirius XM channel 158, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV, VSiN Watch app, any of our great affiliates across the country. Jonathan Von Tobel with you live in downtown Las Vegas. We're keeping it rolling here. I am disappointed still, though, that we didn't have the identical red shirts. I was really thinking I was going to get a head-to-toe twin vibe today. No glasses also. You've been wearing glasses all week. No glasses today?
Yeah, felt like, I don't know. It's Thursday. I just felt like wearing contacts today. I apologize. Did you come in blind as hell? Because that is exactly what I am without my eyesight. No, I had to buy this because I was told to wear a red shirt, but it was forgotten in the communication. So you owe me $27.95.
Expensive.
I was just gonna say,
employee discount at the circus.
I got my tax off. Yeah.
I actually, oddly enough, I had my contacts in this morning, and I was like, "Oh shoot, no!" And so I popped
Those are
them
your
out.
glasses?
These are my glasses. I have 2 pairs of glasses. My usual glasses are like more circular and big, but these ones look more like the ones you wear.
Okay. Yeah.
Although they still have the bottom rim. Don't you have some that have a bottom rim though?
No, not anymore.
I
moved on. Yes, I did.
I swear I've seen a VSiN graphic.
I was going to say there's a VSiN promo of me, and I'm wearing the horn, like the dark rimmed glasses, and so I guess still have spiky hair. There's also some pictures of me with a buzzed head too. I'm all over the place.
Nice little mirror selfie from high school as well out there on the internet.
I showed you that. Don't. I'm not shy of my past. We all have them.
Trust me, I've got some weird ones out there too. My Instagram goes back from when I was like, I don't know, 17. So.
Well, you unveiled to me yesterday. We have to play this clip at some point. Your old voice?
Oh, yeah.
That's pretty crazy. I mean, I think that's a very that's pretty incredible that you were able to do that.
Thank you.
Not like it was very different, but it is distinctly different.
So when yes, I've had a very mousy voice my whole life. And I feel like the biggest criticism I had when I got into this business wasn't what I had to say. It was how I spoke. And so, like, nails on a chalkboard type thing.
I don't know if it was that strong,
it's just very mousy, like
yes,
nasally.
Yes.
And so I've actively worked throughout the years on deepening.
Yeah, that clip you showed me yesterday was pretty shocking.
But I show it to, like, there are so many that are, like, high school or college age people that are getting into this industry that I do Zooms with or I talk to. I'm like, trust me, I was freaking terrible. I was so bad. And I'm still not great, but I work on it, And so that's a clip that I show. So I'll show you some of it.
Don't say that.
I'll play it for you later.
You're Jonathan Von Tobel. You're
Thanks,
great.
ladies.
No.
Poway High School today. Like, it's just so bad. Neither here nor there. We do have a big game coming up on Thursday Night Football tonight. Lamar Jackson is back. They're laying 7.5 points in Miami, taking on the Dolphins today. A little over money coming in. We're sitting at that total of 51.5. And from just a game script perspective, we talked earlier just about our thoughts on the game, but from a prop angle, where did you look first as you kind of went through this game?
It's hard not to when you know how bad the Dolphins' defense has been to look at some of those explosive plays. Lamar Jackson over his longest rush of 15.5 yards. Derrick Henry over his longest rush, 19.5 yards. Looking for something because I feel like the 2 things I'm somewhat confident in are that Miami's defense is going to be relatively poor outside of the performance last week. And let's be honest, you've mentioned this a couple of times, and you talked about it during the game when we were watching it. We saw Atlanta go to Carolina and get shut out. Yep. And so I don't know if this is one where I'm really like, hey, Dolphins have turned this thing around. And so if you're at full strength here, I do think that you're going to be able to generate some explosives. So some of those longest rushes for both Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, rushing attempts, maybe. I don't know if that's going to be entirely the case, but that's where I went to first. Just some of those big plays. You could even go, if you wanted to, like longest reception for some of the guys. We know how explosive Lamar Jackson can be. We know how good of a deep ball thrower he is, but a lot more of the actual like metrics coming back. I thought it was stronger to look on the ground as opposed to through the air.
Yeah, and I understand the love for some people seeing that 90.5 on Derrick Henry and knowing how bad the run defense is. Just because we haven't seen him go over that number much this season. And granted, when he has gone over it, he's gone over by a mile. So it's like almost bet the alts if that is an angle that you want to take on it. But because we haven't seen a ton of it, I would rather approach the run game from a couple different angles. And I like the explosive thought that you presented there. One thing I was looking at was Mark Andrews specifically over his receiving yards with Lamar back. Went over the last 2 games with Lamar, over the 27.5 that is. In 12 of his last 17 games with Lamar Jackson throwing him the ball, he's hit this number. So, and for as bad as the Dolphins are against the run game, they're also pretty bad against the tight end position specifically. It's a good matchup. 6th most receiving yards in the league given up to the tight end, averaging 10 yards per catch allowed, and 63 yards per game allowed to the tight end position. So I know it's not National Tight End Day anymore, but can we get there with Mark Andrews?
I think you could. I was actually curious too from the standpoint of how this looks for some pass catchers. Andrews makes sense. I do wonder with him now that you have Lamar Jackson back, because he did get there last week for his passing yards prop. So
that was that was our lone leg.
Yeah, that cat there. So that's there. That's, I think, one that stuck out. On the other side, you brought this up with Kendall Valenzuela, but it was Malik Washington's role. Malik Washington's role in this game. The last 3 weeks, he's been much more active, has had over 20 yards, and in fact, over 30 yards each the last 2 weeks. He has had quite a few targets. If you look at it, I think it's 17 targets over the last 3 games. Is that actually something that is going to continue here? Because one of the things that is worth pointing out for Baltimore, I brought up the last 2 weeks and how much better they've been. If you still sift through the numbers, there's still quite a few weaknesses for this Baltimore team defensively that the Dolphins could potentially exploit.
Okay. A good reminder, too, as you go through some of these prop betting angles on your own up at VSiN.com right now. VSiN.com/NFL props. You get the Opta AI projections, it's an AI projection that will then compare directly to DraftKings Sportsbook's numbers and tell you where there could be a perceived advantage or edge or not. Quarterbacks, wide receivers, running backs, all of that information at your fingertips. And right now, too, to tip off the NBA season, VSiN's giving you a limited time free preview of our NBA player prop projections as well. VSiN.com/NBA props. And JVT, there is a 4-game NBA slate coming up tonight. I know I am our senior expert when it comes to the NBA, but if you would like to try your hand at it today,
sure.
I know you're very excited that the Clippers have their NBA Cup game coming up here in short order, but 4 games coming up today. Magic, Hornets, Warriors, Bucks, Wizards, Thunder, Heat, Spurs. Where did you look first?
So I have not. Let me double check to see if the injury report has been updated for Orlando. I didn't get the best of this number here. I knew that diving into it this morning, figured it was going to go in the direction it did, but I do think that eventually we're going to bounce back. So injury report officially out. Jalen Suggs is not going to play. Franz Wagner is questionable. So that's the thing that's kind of tough for me on the second leg of a back-to-back. Took a little bit of a risk with Orlando, but if we do get Franz Wagner out there, still feel relatively confident that even on the second leg of a back-to-back, the Orlando Magic can get there. Here's the thing. The Magic have not been playing particularly well. Very poor cover number. In fact, they're one of the worst cover teams by spread differential so far this year. And their defense has been one of the worst in the NFL so far this year. In the NBA. But having said that, watching yesterday and this is probably somewhat foolish, watching the press conference yesterday, too, with Jamal Mosley and Paolo Banchero, this team is acutely aware of how poor it has gone so far. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of vitriol for this team to kind of come out and show a little bit of a better effort on defense against the Charlotte squad that does not have Brandon Miller, that we saw in the last 2 of the last 3 games. Has looked a little bit more, we'll call it mortal, even though it's not like it looked unbeatable over the first couple of days of the NBA season. I just think the Hornets might be up against it here against Orlando. They can get to the rim. Orlando can. They take a ton of their shots within 4 feet of the basket. They can get out and run if they want as well. But I think that the Charlotte defense is going to have trouble keeping this team away from the restricted area. Yeah. They through the early portion of the season, they're 20th in terms of rim frequency allowed. And while opponents have only shot 62% at the rim against Charlotte, I think Orlando's going to be able to shoot a better clip at that because they're one of the better rim teams. They can't hit a jump shot to save their lives, but I think they're going to be able to bully a somewhat smallish front court for Charlotte. So, again, if Wagner plays, I would expect this gets back up to the number that I laid. It's just 3, but I laid 3 with Orlando today.
And even though they've lost 4 straight games, as the great Jonathan Von Tobel once said, eventually the worm turns. And I think that could be the case tonight.
I cannot believe you still have, you act shocked that was a...
I've never heard that phrase in my life, but I like it. It's catching on.
Yes,
we're gonna, if it wasn't a thing before, we're going to make it a thing.
That's right. It's having a moment. I guess the other one really quickly, Golden State, Milwaukee. Golden State's a 3-point favorite. Total's 231.5. I don't know who...
That's going up to 3.5 too.
Yeah. And so this one's getting moving in the direction of Golden State, but I'd push back a little bit here, and this might be a Hardwood Handicappers group chat friendship play. I haven't officially confirmed this, but I do think Milwaukee might be kind of live here, especially with Giannis. I mean, they don't know if they have a true option to defend Giannis at this point right now with that athleticism. And I think Milwaukee, and Zach Cohen's been on this a little bit more than I have, and we'll talk to him tomorrow. But this Milwaukee team, I think, is being a little undervalued as we head into the year. This is a good team. They've surrounded Giannis with some shooters. I think that really works with what they want to do. They come in this with the 4th best offensive rating in the NBA. And very quietly, they're one of the better shooting teams in the NBA from a percentage standpoint. I think they can kind of go toe-to-toe here with this Golden State team. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, but I think Milwaukee might be pretty alive in what might be a pretty volatile back-and-forth affair.
They're 15-1 in the conference. Are they a team that's like, if they make the dance, can go up against anybody? How do you view them big picture?
Yeah, I mean, I think that they're going to be better only in that I think the East is pretty weak. You know, like we'll see with the Cavs. Cavs were pretty banged up last night, so they lose to Boston. Very quietly, Philly's getting healthy today. We got a report. I know you know this. Jared McCain practiced today, so that's going to be pretty big for a backcourt that's really, really deep. So if Embiid and Paul George are going to come back, I still think that there's a chance that we're looking at Philly. But I would say to your overall point, yeah, like the East looks pretty flimsy. So would it really shock you if the Bucks were able to like win a playoff series, maybe push another team in the second round and get it done? By the way, great call on Memphis third quarter yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
It's great.
Nailed it. Evan Mobley, threes, everything. Just one of those days I was just really...
You were really locked into that Grizzlies Suns game yesterday.
Cleveland, as you mentioned, plus 210 favorites in the Eastern Conference. The Knicks sitting plus 260. And those aforementioned 76ers plus 850 in the Eastern Conference right now. 4 straight wins for them, even with the slow start against Washington the other day. Ended up winning that one in overtime by 5. We are going to step aside here when we come back on Money Moves. Going back to our NFL stock market here, taking stock of our futures, where they sit right now, if we want to buy, sell, hold, maybe add to the portfolio. We'll get into it all coming up next right here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Breeders' Cup weekend is here, and you don't want to go in guessing. We've got a full expert picks sheet for just $9.99, covering every race, both days, straight from the top handicappers here at the network, including Mike Somich, who did the Derby Superfecta this year, if you recall. And if you're a VSiN Pro subscriber, you get the picks for free already. We're laying out top selections and confidence scores, perfect for anyone trying to add a data point into their handicapping, or if you're a beginner just trying to find an edge coming up this weekend at Del Mar. Instant download, no fluff, huge value. Order now at vsin.com/breeders. That's vsin.com/breeders. I have already done as such. I also reached out to Mike Somich for a little extra help as I was making my picks for the First Bet Breeders' Cup weekend. What? That's not cheating. It's using my resources.
Well, it's using your resources, but if he's in the same contest, doesn't it kind of put you on the
Oh, no. I don't take all of the picks exactly as he said, but I take the information, decipher it, make my own decisions, just like I would hope our audience does as we discuss games.
It's a very good
Might
point,
not
John.
agree with my side, but I give you a nugget, and then you're like, oh, maybe that's how I want to play it. That's come on, that's what we do.
It's a good point, John.
Oh.
Did you? So there was a couple of things. First off, we don't have to spend a lot of time with this because we'll get in trouble. But one of the things that I did send that you did not respond to was the very early minutes of the morning this morning was the this new robot that's making the rounds.
Dude.
This new house helper. This picture of him standing over somebody.
Nope.
No shot, dude.
Have you guys seen it? So listen, any of you that have been avid listeners of us for a while know I am very anti-AI.
No shot.
Have you never seen iRobot? Have you never seen any of these futuristic movies where the robots and artificial intelligence turns on you? No, thank you.
Check out Neo, the home robot.
I'm not trying to be murdered in my own home. Also, so I've seen you made me go down a rabbit hole with this stupid robot. And so I looked up these videos of a guy who's got the VR set up and he's kind of controlling the robot. And he's like trying to grab something and it's not going well. So maybe if this is the stage of the robots, we're okay. We're still safe for now.
Yeah, I think so. What we should probably do is we'll expense it to Bill. It's only $20,000.
Yeah.
So let's have VSiN buy one and let's have one for the studio.
No problem. Yeah. Love that idea. It's great. Yep. Can come hand us our laptops or something. They're so creepy though.
One of the two things on the internet yesterday that was quite incredible.
And what did you teach me about? It's like Uncanny Valley. that it's weird to look at robots?
Yeah, it's essentially, Justin can correct me, but it's essentially the theory of like why like somewhat humanoid things kind of give you the feeling of unease because it's like that space between like an actual human and then like, fake or whatever.
Is that how you feel looking at me today?
I mean, no, I feel like I'm looking in a mirror. This is exactly.
Identical.
This is what I see every morning.
Identical.
Yep.
Yeah. Just perfect comp.
You're nailing my personality too, so.
Sarcasm is a sign of intelligence, so I'll let that slide.
That's right. That means I'm intelligent, though.
I know,
that doesn't mean that you're.
But I am you.
Okay. There you go. There you go.
Okay, let's get into a little NFL stock market here. We did this with college football early in the week, but kind of taking inventory of where some of our futures were that we gave out earlier in the season.
If only we could have done it last week.
If we want to get into it a little bit more here, if we like our standings, if we want to hold on to the bets we have, if we want to buy in and get a little bit more, if we're ready to sell, we think that the ticket is dead and maybe even go on the opposite side of where our bet currently stands. And you and I have one or a couple, actually. I think that there's a little bit of overlap.
There's some crossover, yeah.
So maybe let's go there with our team futures. We both have the Chiefs to win the AFC West, and I think that's one we feel pretty good about holding on to.
I mean, yeah, I think you can make the argument that you buy.
Yeah.
So you laid minus 115. It's up to minus 125. I've got some plus 150 from, 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it's, again, at that price. I think you make the argument, if we're right, because there's 2 points we've made today. First off, which is being that we're both, I think, somewhat confident that the Chiefs can get this win this weekend against Buffalo. And I don't know about you, but I think there's an argument to be made that this is like Patrick Mahomes' best team when it's at full strength, especially from an offensive standpoint.
Which is that not vomit-inducing, by the way,
It's
after
ridiculous.
what we've seen for the Chiefs year in and year out? The years that they're bad and they're supposed to have the down year and it's supposed to fall apart, They still end up finding themselves in the Super Bowl. So now to think they actually could be better?
Yes. I would agree with all points. And for Denver, and that's write this one down. That's a fly in the ointment, right? Which is Denver.
Yeah.
If Bo Nix and the improvement that he's shown over the last 4 weeks is legitimate and on the rise, maybe they're not as big of a runaway favorite in this division, considering Denver. Having said that, I don't know if I completely buy that, and I do buy Kansas City. I think they're a team that, even with the rigidity of this schedule moving forward, that they're going to be able to come through this and win this division. I think you can make the argument you lay $1.25. But I will say, I think the real thing is just hold where we're at. You've got a cheaper price. Obviously, sitting at plus 150 for me, I think we're in a position to just sit back and see if they can do this instead of adding more. But I think there is an argument to be made that minus 125 is cheap.
A couple season win totals I imagine you're feeling pretty good about. You had the Dolphins all to under 6.5 at plus 165. Their current number is 5.5. The Commanders as well. You took the under 9.5 wins at even money. The number currently sitting 7.5. It is to the over at minus 120. Do you think that's could you get a middle here in this spot? Do you think 8 wins maybe is the spot for the Washington Commanders?
Yeah, I mean, potentially. I think I'd want, especially for a win total, I think I'd want a little bit more of a middle there. So I think I'd just sit back and just see if I can get this Commanders win total to come in. I mean, it seems like the great season for them is going to land on, like, if everything is perfect for them going forward, I think like 9 wins might be the ceiling for this team. So I'm in a pretty good spot to potentially sit on this 9.5 for the Washington Commanders. I think the real question is, for the Dolphins, I have to feel pretty good given the position, right? 6.5 plus 165, and it's 5.5 shaded to the under at minus 140. But you do like to look at both sides. And what if, God forbid, this turnaround for Tua is real? And what if they rip off this win and all of a sudden they start to maybe look a little bit more like the team a lot of people thought? And it's not like anybody thought they were going to be world beaters, but you can make the argument that they become a team that is more like a 7-win team over a larger sample size than what they are, but I don't think that they're going to reach 7 wins. So I still feel relatively confident, but I would assume it's going to be a sweat down the stretch.
The one that I feel the best about right now, although...
Out of all of your win totals or out of all your futures?
Out of all of my futures that I have here,
I mean,
and I don't even know if I want to say the best about, but I feel pretty good about...
There's one answer for you.
Jackson Dart?
Yeah, it has to be.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. But I don't know if...
Stormy has Jackson Dart, Rookie of the Year, 22-1.
But there is a scenario where the season falls apart and Emeka Egbuka continues to play really, really well because the injury, only limited him for so long that, Jackson Dart plus 105, Emeka Egbuka plus 140 right now in the Offensive Rookie of the Year odds market. Obviously, you give the edge to the young quarterback for his role, and he's been largely great to this point, but now without Cam Scatterbo, you wonder how the trajectory of their season ends up turning. I don't know.
Yeah. All those points are valid, but look, you have the starting quarterback of the New York Giants. Yeah. Who is a favorite to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. You also have to feel pretty good about your Cardinals win total as well.
Yeah. Dude, okay, so sometimes your read on a team is just wrong, right? But that was one that I just felt so validated in because the Cardinals were a team that people thought this year, I mean, they could win the NFC West. They could be a dark horse and come out and people aren't giving them the respect they deserve, the additions that they made. Like, I just didn't see it. I didn't get it. And so I feel pretty good about the Cardinals under 9.5 wins, considering the current number is what? 5.5?
5.5
Yeah.
over minus 155.
Yeah, I do like that one. What about your awards markets?
Well, here's the thing. So I mentioned, I wish we did this a week earlier. That's because my award market portfolio looked much better. And then Quinshon Judkins and Carson Schweschinger, God, I got to get that down, both went down with injury. So now all of a sudden, those look pretty tough. You got to feel pretty good about Dak Prescott. I think you can make the argument. So again, the whole concept here, buy, sell, or hold, and what we're doing with some of these futures, I think you can make the argument that you're buying Dak Prescott at plus 105 to win comeback player of the year. Again, he is playing the position at a MVP level. And if you can't be the comeback player of the year, given the way that he's playing right now, again, I think it's more of a bet on whether or not he's just going to be healthy for the rest of the year. Because I think he's playing at such a good level that if he was the starting quarterback of, whatever winning team right now, he'd be up there for MVP.
Yeah.
So at plus 105, I think you can make the argument there that you buy a little bit more on Dak. The really good hold, obviously, is Tyler Warren. I think he's still pretty live here. It's right around where I had it. I bet him at plus 425 to win. It's a plus 475 now. You got to think that he's got a pretty good shot to win Offensive Rookie of the Year, given what his season looks like. Could be a 1,000-yard receiver for the Indianapolis Colts, or maybe going to win the 1 seed in the AFC. Question is, will he have enough pull to upend Emeka Egbuka, who's in front of him as a pass catcher, but also, as we just mentioned, the starting quarterback of the New York Football Giants? I
imagine you're going to hold on the Baker Mayfield MVP at 12-1. He's currently 14-1 in the market, but if there was a buy, who would it be right now? We've thrown some names around, like Matthew Stafford sitting there at 12-1. Yeah. For as much as you love Daniel Jones, I don't think 16-1 is something you want to fire on for him for MVP.
He's not going to win MVP. Like I'm adamant that he's not going to win MVP.
I will tell you though, Jonathan Taylor, when we were having this conversation the other day, was like 22-1, and he's getting bet a little bit, 18-1 right now.
I mean, that's the one. I've got a couple of days I've got some time to decide here, but
are you going to end up adding it?
Well, it's the non-plus EV thing, which is just like, man, like I'm a Colts man. And what if he wins MVP? And I got nothing on it.
I don't have it.
I got nothing on this guy. He's having the year that he is. And I know that there's a strong argument to be made of, if you look at the analytics and the numbers and the actual value, you're handicapping voters here, right? And that's part of the process. And I think the voters, if he has that LaDainian Tomlinson-esque season, which he seems to be on track to do, it's going to be hard to look the other direction, especially if they win the 1 seed.
I don't know. I just think that it's become a quarterback award. He's going to win Offensive Player of the Year, which he's already odds on to do. And then Patrick Mahomes. The
real question is, if he wins MVP, will he also win Offensive Player of the Year? And if he doesn't, then who would you look at?
I don't think that's how it's going to play out, but we can have the discussion if you like. That said, we do have to step aside. Jeff Erickson of RotoWire is going to join us up next, talking through some props for Thursday night and beyond.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
All right, Thursday Night Football on deck. Lamar Jackson back for the Baltimore Ravens as they visit Miami, taking on the Dolphins tonight. But that's just the tip of the iceberg for what is a loaded card coming up in the NFL this weekend. Stormy Buonantony, Jonathan Von Tobel with you back here on Money Moves. Also, somebody tweeted at us that said, I didn't know that JVT's 10-year-old brother was on the program joining us today. So that's where we open this up. Very excited, though, to get into some of the prop market for the weekend and beyond with Jeff Erickson, RotoWire senior editor, who joins us like he does every Thursday. You can follow him on X at Jeff_Erickson. And as I said to you in the break, Jeff, I did not take into account when I got dressed today that I was going to have to speak face-to-face on the air with someone other than JVT. And so I apologize for what you have to witness for the next 15 minutes. How are you?
Doing well, and it's all good. I think it's pretty funny. It's good stuff.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
See, it's good. We all appreciate it.
Anybody wants to borrow the wig or jacket later, just let me know. Let's get into Thursday Night Football, though. We were talking earlier about a couple prop angles that stood out to us, specifically when it came to explosive runs on the Baltimore side against this Miami defense. Anything that stood out to you as you dove through the options for tonight?
I also like Zay Flowers a little bit, too. I know the numbers aren't massive with wide receivers against Miami, but this secondary is truly dreadful. And I think they're going to try to prevent Lamar from exposure running the ball. I think they'll throw a little bit more often. And I think Flowers has a get well game here. I think you're going to see a few more targets on the outside. I like the over 68.5 receiving yards for him. I've seen in some shops, 69.5 other places.
Do you adjust? We've talked about this a ton, but do you just assume because a guy like Lamar is playing that he's going to be at full strength, and do you adjust accordingly? Like, do you handicap accordingly? How do you handle some projections when a guy's coming off of an injury like that, and his athleticism is such a big part of what he does?
I think it's a great question. I don't usually give him full projection right away, and that's why I think I had to stay away from running props for him, for instance there. I think that he'll get some action early. We were talking about this on our SiriusXM show earlier today, Jim Coventry and I, and he suggested that he might get like a show that he can do it type of run early and then try to kind of dial that aspect of his game down. But I do think the passing game gets a little stronger as a result of this.
Jeff, let's look ahead to Sunday, because I know something that stood out to a lot of people watching the 49ers Houston Texans game was that Christian McCaffrey's touches were way down from what we've seen throughout the course of the year. Did still get targeted a lot in the pass game. Do we think that he gets back to his usual complement this week against the Giants?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think they do it early and often. That was such a weird game against the Texans. They had one possession in the first quarter. McCaffrey's first official touch wasn't until the first play of the second quarter. Keep in mind that first drive, he had a carry called back due to penalty. And it was just, everything was weird. There's 3 penalties on their first drive. The Texans had a 9.5-minute drive to start the game. This will be a back to normal game for McCaffrey. Early in the season, we were getting 4.5, 5.5 receptions as his prop. It's 5.5 this week. I think he eclipses it. I think they go to him early and often. I don't think the Giants can stop it either.
All right, what about this is a game we were just discussing at length here, and maybe not a player prop angle, but Denver and Houston looks like it's going to be a potentially ugly game, and I think you see it that way, right?
Yeah, and it's funny because both quarterbacks are coming off perhaps their best game of the year. C.J. Stroud looked as good as he's done, and he did it without Nico Collins, amazingly enough. And Bo Nix has had 2 4-touchdown games in a row. In the Giants game, obviously a couple of rushing touchdowns, but it's a lot harder in class this week. At Houston, I think one of the best pass defenses, if not the best pass defense, when you factor in the top corners they have, and they have, the great pass rush. Will Anderson's playing at a different level this year. There's a reason why it's the lowest total of the week at 39.5, and I still like the under 39.5. Also fade the receivers, especially Cortland Sutton. I think it's still at, you can get him at 54.5 to 58.5. And that, I wanted to ask you guys a question on this, actually, because in some shops I've seen it as low as 54.5 on the receiving yards, as high as 58.5, but the difference in the juice is -10 versus -140. How much do those extra yards versus the juice? Which matters more?
I mean, given the price, and I would assume the yards aren't really that big of a difference. Like, I'd rather go under 54.5, the lower number.
That's what I landed on, but I just don't know the math on that.
Sure. Yeah, I think specifically, I don't know, like essentially what you're asking is how much is a yard worth? And I don't know how much that would be from a receiver standpoint. And given the volatility of like yards after catch and how they use them, I would assume it's not worth that much. But don't quote me on that.
And I'm the Temu JVT, and when it comes to the numbers, I don't have the exact math like you would either. But that was my gut feeling as well. You had a follow up though.
Well, right? I do have a follow up for you. So, and this is along those lines, kind of in the sense of this is a bigger step up in difficulty for Bo Nix. Are you buying what he's selling over the last few weeks?
No, I think he had 3 terrible quarters against the Giants and caught fire at the end of that game there. Maybe he turned a corner a little bit, but I think Dallas is his historically bad pass defense that lost safeties in the middle of that game. I think you got a grade on the curve with Nix. If he, prove it to me again, do it on the road. We'll see what happens. Right now, I'm not buying yet.
Yeah, Dallas defense is bottom 2 in the league. I'm not buying what I was seeing either, and I'm with you. Earlier this week,
consistent on this all year, John.
So consistent with, Bo Nix, if you looked at it, I did actually put the under in the account on this game as well, so I'm right there with you. There are a couple anytime touchdown scorers that caught your eye coming up this weekend, including one who couldn't do it for us this past Sunday. We are big Tyler Warren fans in general. Last weekend, he couldn't do it for us. Why do you think he can get 6 this week?
Well, first of all, they run the offense through him. Part of my process every week is I rewatch all the games, the condensed games on NFL.com on that. And Mike, watching Colts games is just a joy every single week. They're just such a machine. They run so much of the offense through Warren already in his rookie year. And the Steelers really struggle against tight ends. And we saw it in bright lights on Sunday night there, the Tucker Kraft game. I think Warren could do that. Also, going back to Pennsylvania, the narrative street doesn't hurt there a little bit. The price is plus 135. For a tight end touchdown, it's not exactly a windfall, but I still like it. I still think that's a good avenue to go to. Short of playing against the Bengals, and I know there's a lot of moving parts in that Bears-Bengals game right now. I just love using tight ends against the Steelers.
All right, what about on the other side, the other pass catcher, DK Metcalf? How do you handle him?
Outside receivers tend to do pretty well against the Colts. Their corners, they had one corner retire. They had another get concussed and put on IR for a collision that happened in warmups with Charvarius Ward. Their best corner cover. I think Metcalf gets well this week after kind of a couple of down weeks in games that you thought that he might do more, especially that Bengals game. But the Bengals have one good cover corner and they put him on him. And so the Steelers just threw 4 tight end touchdowns instead. I think Metcalf gets well this week. I think the 60.5 is one of my favorite receiving yards props of the week, if not my absolute favorite of the week. I think he really gets well this week.
With the Chargers running back issues and health problems that they've had this season, Kamani Vidal has really come on. Obviously had the 117-yard performance this past week on Thursday night against the Vikings. What kind of production do you expect to see from him this week, taking on a bad Titans team?
Yeah, I don't have a strong feel on the yardage, but I love the anytime touchdown with Kamani Vidal as well. The Titans have allowed 12 rushing touchdowns and 2 more running back receiving touchdowns on the year. I think Vidal gets in the end zone here. It's not, again, price isn't amazing at minus 115, but that's what you would expect for a team that's a double-digit favorite. You are close to a double-digit favorite. I think it's 8.5 now. Sorry, I misspoke a little bit. But a team that's expected to be playing with the lead. How about we'll go with that as the construction? Vidal should be a big part of that there. If they have any sequence there where they're in the red zone, he gets the work. We've seen that before. I like the anytime touchdown for Vidal.
All right, how are we handling or just blindly playing against this Cowboys defense and how bad it's been? Is there a pass catcher we could target?
Yeah, I like Marvin Harrison Jr. Again, this secondary is dreadful. And even at home, they had one good game, and that was against a Commanders team that was missing their top 3 receivers. I really don't think that there's a get well aspect to the Cowboys coming home. Honestly, I'm hoping for Jacoby Brissett to be the quarterback and not Kyler Murray. I think Harrison it will do better with that. I think Trey McBride especially would love to see that there. Harrison's receiving prop is 57.5 yards. I like the over on that one there. Even with Kyler, I think I like it. But with Brissett, I definitely would go after it aggressively.
It is funny you say that, Jeff, because I bet the over in that game already. And I said a very similar thing earlier. It's like, I think I kind of like it more if we get Jacoby, but if we get Kyler, it's okay. Thank you, as always, for coming on with us. We appreciate it. Great luck with your bets.
All right. Thank you.
Jeff Erickson, everybody, doing great work over there as a senior editor at RotoWire, and you can check him out for the RotoWire Fantasy Sports Today show on SiriusXM, channel 87 as well. But yeah, that over 53.5 was in pocket for me earlier this week. Is that weird that I'm getting ahead on a Monday Night Football game on like a Tuesday this week? Who am I?
I think that's probably the second weirdest thing you've done today.
I don't know what could possibly be the first if we're being honest here.
Yes.
I like what he said about Christian McCaffrey too. The targets, especially in the receiving game, are there every single week. He only had 3 catches last week, but they need to put the ball in his hands to have success.
It's Devon Achane-esque, where it's just like it's just going to be a high volume of targets, and you're going to have a pretty good shot that at the very least you're going to meet that number. Yeah.
Okay, we got to step aside here on Money Moves. When we come back, we are going to wrap things up with our best bets, recap of everything that's transpired so far, and then looking ahead to tonight and the weekend. For me specifically, since I'm not going to be here on Friday, I've got some of my plays for the NFL and college football to dive into. Also, a couple hockey bets tonight on the ice. Do you have anything in the NBA today?
I do.
Officially official?
Yep.
Beautiful. All right, we'll hit on that coming up next here on Money Moves, VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
You're watching Money Moves here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
hold up my social media feed because the commentary, you guys, has been fantastic as we welcome you back here to Money Moves on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Doing my best, Jonathan Von Tobel, today. Since I can't be here tomorrow for the Halloween holiday, I got ahead of it. I think it was a pretty good surprise, too, right?
It was.
Even when Isabel was trying to get you to wear red, you didn't know that it had anything to do with work.
So for our audience, last night, and again, my wife's not like the greatest liar at all. Like she's not,
She's very sweet and like kind, and I don't think.
Right. So she told me yesterday, she goes, hey, by the way, tomorrow, can you wear your red shirt to work? But then she's like, because I want there's something there's like this social media trend, and I want to take a picture with you and the boys, and I need you all in red shirts. And so
that's a good idea, though. As far as, trying to get somebody to slyly do something like that is hard.
And like the good husband I am, I'm locked into Grizzly Sun. So I'm like, yeah, whatever. Like I'll wear a red shirt. That's fine. And I remembered this morning, but because she's not good at lying, she did not subsequently put our children in red shirts. So like when I saw them without them and they left, I was like, oh, well, I guess we're not doing this. So I just put on a different shirt and left. And then, of course, I'm on the phone with her on the way in because she calls me in a panic because she's like, you didn't wear your red shirt? I'm like, no, why? Like, what are we doing? And then she explains. She didn't tell me everything because I think you told her exactly what you were doing.
Yes. I said, and if you want to take a one shot of me real quickly, I showed her this photo and I said, this is my inspo, but with glasses. And I think kind of nailed it.
She just told me, she's like, Stormy needs you to do it. And then I put two and two together and I'm like, okay, like there's going to be some sort of coordinated costume. And then I saw you walk in and I was like, all right, this is ridiculous.
So here's some of the commentary.
By the way, the end of the story is I went and bought this shirt from the Circuit gift shop because I thought I needed some sort of red and now I regret it.
Which, you would have been, but now you have an extra shirt. So
that's true. Yes.
There you go. It's win's a win. My personal favorite comes from Maddie Jackpots today. Mm-hmm. I get librarian vibes, not the hot ones. Chris Foley was listening to you two on the way home and had to see this. Oh my gosh, it's both mesmerizing and disturbing all at once. Yep. Fair commentary. Jason was the one who sent us, it's kind of weird watching JVT and his 12-year-old brother on the show today.
That was a good one.
There was another good one.
Somebody said that they don't want me to dress like you. Nobody wants to see it.
Oh, yeah.
That's fine.
Sean Thompson, JVT, please don't dress like Stormy. Nobody needs to see that.
Yep.
Can't take Stormy dressed as JVT. JVT on the right. Do you think Giannis can watch a 2020 game tonight? And you very astutely put stage right?
Yeah.
Do you think? What's the answer?
I think he was talking about you.
What's the answer?
I would think that they as they have every time run a lot of offense through him, and he's going to have a pretty good shot. Speaking of, yesterday we should note we didn't do a lot of NBA recap from a big day yesterday. We were having a similar conversation. Good thing it didn't go under on Austin Reeves. Again, he does it, including a game winner against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Bad loss for the Timberwolves, but what a performance for Reeves these last three games. So it just goes to show, if you're going to be a high-volume player like that, pretty good shot you're going to be able to get it done.
Good thing we avoided that one. Good thing you bet Evan Mobley if you want to do your actual betting recap from yesterday.
How about that? I don't know if you actually tracked what happened here. So Evan Mobley starts the game, and the Cavs and the Celtics start off in a burner. Mobley hits his first 2 3-point shots in the first quarter. So we're good. He ends the night 2 for 8. So he misses his next 6. Yes, isn't even close. So we got it in. That's all you needed. Mobley over 1.5 3-pointers. We're going to count, even though it's not official yet. We'll count the Dodgers minus 1.5 games as losses. It is a loss. They will not be able to win in 6 or fewer games against the Toronto Blue Jays. They will need to win in 7. Great performance there. So Mobley gets it done. Dodgers for the series do not. We'll see if we can get something done tonight. You didn't have anything yesterday, huh?
No, I did not. So if you just want to go into what you have for today, let's roll.
All right, we're adding 2 to the portfolio for today. First of which is for tonight. This one, the worst of the number now. I'm going to hope that Franz Wagner plays, although I've already been burned by injury reports so far today, in this season. But Orlando Magic minus 3. It is the second leg of a back-to-back for Orlando. Taking on Charlotte, though, without Brandon Miller. I think Orlando, just listen to Mosley talk. I think there's going to be a really big focus and push for this team to be much better defensively. They're actually one of the worst defensive teams statistically. But if I get Franz Wagner out there, which I think we're going to, you're going to have Desmond Bain, you're going to have Paolo Banchero, neither on the injury report. Still think this team is good enough defensively, and their ability to pressure the rim, I think is going to push Charlotte here, who has looked a little we'll call it the Charlotte of old over the last couple of weeks, especially with Miller not being out there. So Magic minus 3. And then with the news, again, kind of basing this on some of the injuries, you're reading between the lines, that he has practiced again today. We will add Texas minus 2.5 against Vandy. That is going to be the play. I was waiting to see whether or not Arch Manning was going to play. All signs point to he will. So let's get it done.
Okay. Nothing to recap for me from yesterday, as you mentioned, but I do have a handful of plays on the ice and the gridiron. So let's start in hockey. I'm on the under 6 in the Dallas-Tampa game. Pretty simple handicap here. 2 strong defensive teams in the early season with 2 historically great goaltenders. I know it's been up and down so far for Vazzy and Ottinger, but with a pair of bottom third scoring teams, I think we stay under here. The Stars have had 4 straight games go under, including a 1-0 win against the Caps on Frozen Frenzy night, which, by the way, as we were going through counting goals, I was like, is this the game that's going to ruin this for me? Right. We ended up getting over, and I can't call it a no sweat though, because I was panicked there for a while. Tampa, meanwhile, they put up 5 on the Preds Tuesday, and as the season goes, I think they have the talent to be a really dangerous scoring team, but at this point in the season, they're just not that yet, and the power play specifically has really struggled. Their PK has been great, mind you, so just a lot of things that I think lended toward an under here. In the Islanders and Carolina Hurricanes game, however, I am over 6.5, and I got that at a -102. Canes missing 3 of their best defensemen, most notably Jacob Slavin, playing more open hockey lately. Saw Vegas score 5 goals on them on Tuesday, plus an empty netter, giving up 4+ in 3 of their last 4 and at least 3 in 5 straight. Islanders, meanwhile, already the league's most profitable over team here. Over the total in every game but one. The one game that didn't go over still had 6 goals. It was just a 6.5 goal score game. They can score, and probably with the way Freddie Anderson has been struggling lately, they can also let a lot in, allowed 4+ goals in back-to-back games in 6 of 9 this season. I also like Carolina's team total over 3.5. It's -135, so a little juicy, and I think still going up. I saw -140 at another book. Canes are a top 4 scoring team in the NHL, -218 favorites tonight. They scored at least 4 goals in all 6 of their wins. So let's keep the streak alive. Jonathan Davis and I were texting about that this morning. He also likes the first period over and gave a lot of trends with that. If you go to VSiN.com/NHL, he's got the breakdowns for everything today. Just a little too juicy for me to get involved at -150, but I do like it. In college football, we mentioned this earlier as we went through some of our games of interest. I'm on Indiana's team total over 35.5 at Maryland. USC's team total also over 31.5 at Nebraska. And in the NFL, I've brought this up a lot this week, but I did end up firing on it. We're adding Cam Ward over 220.5 pass yards, thinking of the trailing game state we're going to have against the Chargers. Second half garbage time pass yards coming our way. I bet it last week against the Colts. Prop was only 206.5 then, so this is an inflated number, but I think the market is playing catch up, and we're still not quite there yet. Had 259 on Sunday, 225 against New England, 222 at Vegas, 265 in Arizona. Gone over in those 4 straight and 5 of the last 6. So let's see if we can get home one more time there.
Even with the 60-mile-an-hour winds?
Even with it. Is it 60?
No, I'm just kidding.
What are you saying? I was like, who? Is that another fake weather report that we got coming in on social media? Because that was crazy. When what were the wind warning in that game?
Well, there was the Browns-Dolphins game, there was a wind advisory, and there was going to be gusts upwards of like 45 miles an hour, but that ended like an hour before the game.
Yeah, I was going to say, but that was in the morning. It was prior to kickoff, all of that stuff.
I was just messing with you to see if I could freak you out there.
Don't do that. All right, I've got enough going on in my life. And then to recap, because I will not be here tomorrow.
You got 2 kids to raise.
Some of the other, yes, exactly. Yeah. Diego, we've got T-ball this weekend, or not T-ball.
Coach pitch. Come on now.
Excuse me. And I'm the coach. To recap some of the bets that we gave out earlier in the week, since I'm not going to be here tomorrow for the full weekend portfolio, I am on a teaser that involves tonight's Thursday night game. So bringing the Ravens down from 7.5 to 1.5, just get us 2-point win or more, and then the Lions from 8.5 to 2.5. I lean Lions laying the 8.5 for the game in general. I don't know if I'll ultimately get there by Sunday, but as we talked about with Jeff Erickson as well, that Broncos Texans under, and on Monday Night Football, Cardinals Cowboys over 53.5. So lots on the card going into the weekend.
All right, so you're not here tomorrow. Usually I ask this on Fridays when I get to talk to you or before you go. I don't think have you had all your meetings yet?
No. So this is actually a very weird, unique week. I've talked to 2 players this week. Everything else I'm doing is tomorrow.
Okay. So my usual question of the week of what's your favorite story that you've dug up?
Yeah.
You don't really have anything, huh?
Not a lot. I mean,
you have the burger thing.
I found a lot of things. The burger thing is going to be fun. Boubacar Traore as well from Notre Dame. He's one of their great edge rushers, and he's just racking up the sack numbers. Sure. Fun angle with him that he's from about 15 minutes away from BC, was originally committed to them before flipping to the Irish. So he's going to have a lot of family there and that kind of stuff. So that's just kind of one fun tie, at least for the game that we've got coming up.
What are the percentage chances that you use the footage from the restaurant?
We better use it.
Well, I was going to say, because if you don't, if for some reason it's a tight game.
I'm already regretting pitching this, by the way. Because
my whole premise here is that I need to see this. If it's a tight game or not, we need our hands on this.
They're going to do it coming out of a break at some point.
Okay.
But I'm just telling you, from the minute I actually went on YouTube and watched videos of this, I'm like, why did I do this? Why did I listen to our audience? And I love you, Brian, but
I'm gonna have to watch your game.
I feel physically ill thinking about doing it, and then let alone knowing I'm going to have to go to talk to Marcus Freeman and company afterwards. What did I do? Have a great day, everybody. Good luck with your bets.